Jake had owned his small auto repair shop on Maple Street for 30 years. His hands were weathered and oil-stained, but they knew every engine like an old friend. At 58, he had seen plenty come and go through those garage doors. But something about this Tuesday morning felt different. A silver sedan limped into his lot, making sounds no car should make. The engine knocked and sputtered before dying completely. Jake wiped his hands on his coveralls and walked over. The driver's door opened, and out stepped a young woman in her mid-20s. Her name was Maya, and Jake could see the worry written across her face. She wore simple clothes, and her eyes were red from crying. "I don't know what's wrong with it," she said, her voice shaking slightly. "It just started making this terrible noise on the highway." Jake nodded and gestured toward the hood. "Let me take a look," he said gently. He spent the next 20 minutes inspecting the engine. "The diagnosis wasn't good. Your timing belt snapped." He explained it caused some serious internal damage. Maya's face went pale. "How much will it cost to fix?" Jake scratched his chin. "With parts and labor, probably around $1,800. He watched as tears began forming in her eyes. "I don't have that kind of money," she whispered. "I just started a new job as a nurse at the children's hospital. My first paycheck isn't for 2 more weeks." She looked down at her feet. "I've been sleeping in my car trying to save money for an apartment. This car is everything I have." Something in Jake's chest tightened. He thought about his own daughter, who was around Maya's age. He thought about all the times life had knocked him down and someone had helped him back up. "Tell you what," he said. "Leave the car with me, I'll fix it up, and you can pay me when you're able." Maya looked up with disbelief. "Really?" Jake smiled. "Really?" But Maya shook her head. "I can't accept charity." "Then don't call it charity." Jake replied. "Call it a helping hand. We all need one sometimes." Maya hesitated, then slowly nodded. "Thank you," she said barely above a whisper. Jake drove her to the hospital himself. Over the next 3 days, he worked on that car during his spare hours. He used quality parts, even though cheaper ones would have done. On Friday afternoon, he called Maya. "Your car is ready," he said. Maya arrived an hour later, still in her hospital scrubs. Jake handed her the keys. "All fixed," he said. She reached for her purse, but Jake held up his hand. "We'll settle up when you're on your feet. Just promise me you'll help someone else when you can." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "I promise." She drove away, and Jake went back to his regular work. He didn't think much more about it. 2 weeks passed. It was a quiet Monday morning when Jake heard the rumble of engines outside. He looked up from the carburetor he was cleaning. His jaw dropped. 6 luxury cars were pulling into his small lot: Mercedes, Porsche, BMW, Bentley, Range Rover, and a Rolls-Royce. They formed a semicircle around his shop. Jake walked outside, confused. Drivers began emerging from each vehicle. They were all dressed in expensive suits. An older gentleman stepped forward from the Rolls-Royce. He had silver hair and carried himself with quiet dignity. "Are you Jake?" the man asked. "Yes, sir." The man extended his hand. "My name is Richard Castellano. I'm Maya's grandfather." Jake shook his hand, still confused. "Maya told me what you did for her," Richard continued. His voice was thick with emotion. "She told me how you fixed her car when she had nothing, how you asked for nothing in return. I had no idea she was struggling like that." Richard said, "She's too proud to ask for help even from family. But what you did reminded me that kindness still exists in this world." Jake felt embarrassed. "I just did what anyone would do?" "No," Richard said firmly. "Most people wouldn't. Most people would have turned her away." The other drivers had gathered around now. "These are my business partners," Richard explained. "When I told them what you did, they all wanted to meet you. We've brought our cars for you to service." Richard gestured to the luxury vehicles. "We'll pay premium rates for your work, and we'll be telling everyone we know about this shop." "But Jake, that's not all." Richard pulled out an envelope. "Inside is a check. It's not charity. Think of it as an investment. We want to help you expand this business, hire more people, serve more customers, keep being the kind of man this world needs." Jake's hands trembled as he took the envelope. He opened it and nearly fell over. The check was for $50,000. "I can't accept this," he said. Richard smiled. "Yes, you can. Just like Maya had to accept your help. Sometimes we have to let others be kind to us." Over the next months, Jake's life transformed. He hired 3 new mechanics, including a young man fresh out of trade school. Adi upgraded his equipment and expanded the shop. Word spread about the mechanic who helped a stranger. More customers came, not just wealthy ones, but regular people who appreciated honest work. Maya visited often. She had found an apartment and was thriving. At the hospital, she volunteered at a free clinic on weekends. Paying it forward, she told Jake, "Just like I promised, on the 1-year anniversary of that day, Richard returned." He found Jake under the hood of a Toyota. The shop was bustling now, full of life and purpose. "You've built something special here," Richard said. Jake straightened up, wiping his hands. "I had help," he replied. "We all need help sometimes." Richard agreed. "That's what makes us human." The 2 men stood there in comfortable silence, watching the sunset paint the sky orange and gold. Jake thought about how one small act of kindness had rippled outward, touching lives in ways he never imagined. It reminded him that goodness still mattered, that helping others was never wasted, that the best investment we can make is in each other. As Richard drove away, Jake returned to his work. His hands were still oil-stained, his coveralls still worn, but his heart was full. And that made all the difference. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below about a time someone showed you unexpected kindness. Your story might inspire someone else today.